class now, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We'll start our lesson today with the first tashahhud. In our kitab of the Prophet's prayer describes Sifatu Salatul Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with Shaykh Abu Suhaib. The first tashahhud. Next, he sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will sit for the tashahhud after finishing the second rak'ah. In a 2 rak'ah prayer such as Fajr, he would sit muftarishan, as he used to sit between the 2 sajdas, and he would sit in the first tashahhud similarly in a 3 or 4 rak'ah prayer. He also ordered the one who prayed badly, thus saying to him, when you sit in the middle of the prayer, then be calm, spread your left thigh and perform tashahhud. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين على آله وصحبه أجمعين على من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. First of all, I need to make sure that you understand that we're trying to make sure that we are going quickly through the topic because we want to catch up with the brothers of Brixton, inshallah. So if I'm going to be skipping, more explanation, please refer to the classes which are being done already. So for those who are joining this class, they might see some repetition and some addition as well, but more details have been said into the classes which were in the previous ones in the classes regarding Brixton. And because now Zoom brings everybody together, that's why maybe you'll find people listening to things which are being repeated more than once. Jalsat at-tashahhud. We're talking about at-tashahhud al-awwal, the first tashahhud. This is a salah. It's got a tashahhud, only one, or 2 tashahhud, and we're talking about the first one. So the Prophet ﷺ, he says here, he used to, after he finishes that second rak'ah, he would sit. Now, he says here, like the Fajr prayer. The Fajr prayer has only one tashahhud, which we call it also the first tashahhud. Same thing, he would sit in the first tashahhud over prayer got 2 tashahhuds. Like the ones which are the 3 rak'ah of the Maghrib or the 4 rak'ah of the Isha. The way he sits in this tashahhud is iftirash. And I'm going to share with you here some screens because I can't just go to the back and start demonstrating myself. So I just picked up some images here. If I go with you, inshallah, to those images, you'll understand what we're talking about. So if I go to the, I'll tell you what now, let me just explain them, or maybe explain them, what shall we do? Explain them as I'm going. Okay, I'll explain them, inshallah, with the images, would be better, inshallah. Right. Okay, let me just go to the sharing of the screen. Yeah. Right. Okay, now, this is the tashahhud's positions. We're going to see though the iftirash. The iftirash is this one. So that is, look, this is a video actually. Right. So it's not the right one. If I go to a clip here. Right. I can't really find iftirash now at the moment here, but the iftirash basically is the normal way when you sit. And let me just get it. Yeah, that's the one. I got it now. Alhamdulillah. Right, that's the one. So the iftirash. Why am I, when I'm clicking, this goes to somewhere else? Subhanallah. Okay, that's the iftirash here, which is on the one I'm just pointing with my left. I'm trying to click on this, but it's not going to give me the right one. So this is the iftirash. You're sitting on the left foot and your right one is upright. Can I ask the co-host, please, can you just enter people, please, because they are, so we got, you sit on the left and your right foot is upright. That's called iftirash. So you sit this in the, as I said, in a prayer has got 1 tashahhud, or a prayer has got 2 tashahhud in the first tashahhud. And by the way, the scholars had differed. How do you sit in the tashahhud. You sit iftirash and tawarruk. Tawarruk is this one. Tawarruk is this one, which is you make your right foot like this, with the toes sometimes towards the qibla, and sometimes they're not towards the qibla, they're towards the other side. So both ways are correct. And the left foot is underneath the shin, or the leg of the right foot. And also there is tawarruk in this way. If you might as well just find the tawarruk, which is that one. Yeah. The tawarruk, which is, sorry. Okay, that one, which is putting the foot like this, and then the left is on top of the leg of the right one. That's called tawarruk. This is in a prayer, we do it in the second tashahhud. It's a prayer, it's got 2 tashahhuds, and we do it in the second tashahhud. And as I said, the scholars had differed. Let's just summarize quickly the difference among the scholars. We have Imam Abu Hanifa, rahmatullah alayhi, he says that there is iftirash, as we said before, what is iftirash? Okay, it's that one. In all tashahhuds, regardless. Iftirash in all tashahhuds. Whether it's the first one, the second one, there is no tawarruk for him. That's the Hanafi madhab. As for the Imam Malik, it's the opposite. All tashahhuds are tawarruk. This way, as we said, or the other way, which is this one. Both are tawarruk. Whether you put the left foot on top of the leg, the right leg, or underneath. Both is correct. And this is the Maliki. The Shafi'i is that he does iftirash in the prayer. It's got 2 tashahhuds. And also the prayer's got 1 tashahhud. Basically, his opinion, Imam Shafi'i, in every tashahhud that is followed directly by a salutation, there is a tawarruk. So he says there's iftirash only if there is a prayer of 2 tashahhuds in the first tashahhud. But Imam Shafi'i, sorry, I should really say, maybe I missed here. Imam Shafi'i says that he sits on tawarruk. Okay, just close the phone here. On tawarruk in every tashahhud that is followed by salutation. So the only iftirash you could do that is in a prayer that has got 2 tashahhuds and it's in the middle one, like we're doing, like Shaykh Al-Albaani's opinion. But he does not do like the Shaykh Al-Albaani's opinion, which is that in the first tashahhud, which is the prayer of the Fajr, he makes tawarruk, Imam Shafi'i. Imam Ahmad is the opinion that Shaykh Al-Albaani had chosen. And that is the 4th madhab. And that there is iftirash in only the prayer's got more than 1 tashahhud, and it's in the middle tashahhud, the first tashahhud. And tawarruk is only in the prayer that has got 2 tashahhuds. So the tawarruk is only in the prayer that's got 2 tashahhuds. And it's in the tashahhud, which is the last one, tawarruk. And that is the opinion of Shaykh Al-Albaani rahmatullah. So here we find that if you are having a prayer like the Dhuhr or the Asr or the Maghrib or the Isha has got 2 tashahhuds, in the first tashahhud you sit iftirash, this one. Second tashahhud you sit tawarruk, this one, or that tawarruk which I showed you before as well, this one. Okay. So the Fajr prayer now, it's got only 1 tashahhud. So which one do you sit? You sit iftirash. Imam Shafi'i sits what? Tawarruk. Who also sits tawarruk as well? Imam Malik, because he sits tawarruk in everywhere. طيب, خير إن شاء الله. Have you understood, alhamdulillah, the jalsat al-iftirash and tawarruk, where to sit? Now, Shaykh Al-Albaani, in his book, which is Asl al-Sifa, and I explained it, if you want to refer back to the classes we've written in details, the refutation of each of those. Okay. I want to just mention one, which is the opinion of Imam Shafi'i. Can you just please block the videos, please, brothers? Ya Akhwani, co-hosts. Please watch for the videos, Jazakumullah khair. Basically, subhanallah, the Imam Shafi'i rahmatullah alayhi. Imam Shafi'i, why did he make tawarruk in Salat al-Fajr? This is based upon a hadith, which is sahih. that the Prophet ﷺ, description of his prayer, that he would sit in tawarruk, in the tashahhud, which the prayer is finished with. Again, that is, he would sit in tawarruk, in the tashahhud, where it is followed by salutation. Now, that is authentic hadith. But that hadith can be as well in a prayer that's got two tashahhud. So he says that it is followed by salutation. But this hadith is for both argument, for Imams Ahmad, because he sits in tawarruk in the prayer that is followed by salutation. Same thing as Imam Shafi'i. So what is the solution here? That there is a hadith which is authentic and it is in details on Wa'il ibn Hujr, where he mentions a prayer exactly of the Fajr, where he sat in iftirash in that 2 rak'ah. So this hadith details that it is iftirash, like the Fajr prayer, in a prayer that's got one diwat tashahhud. Because of this, we made the other hadith, which is that he used to make tawarruk in the prayer or after the 2 rak'ah, which is followed by salutation, that is in a prayer that's got more than one tashahhud. That's how he understood it, and that's why we say Imam Shafi'i is it is close to the Sunnah, but the Sunnah one is Imam Ahmad, rahmatullahi ala al-jami'. طيب, we spend a bit of time here. Let's just go to Abu Hurairah. تفضل يا أخي.
Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu said, my friend sallallahu alayhi wasallam forbade me from squatting iqqa' like a dog. In another hadith, he used to forbid the squatting of the devil.
Right. Iqqa'. The iqqa', I don't have images. I was looking at images and that's why I was delayed a bit. I was looking at images on the laptops because I can't really go to the back and demonstrate. There's iqqa' is sunnah and iqqa' which is not the sunnah. I've got the iqqa' of the sunnah as an image. So I'm going to share that with you now. Right, screen share, and that is okay. Iqqa' sunnah is now that one, which is this one. That's iqqa' sunnah, which is between the 2 sajda, only between the 2 sajda. You sit with your buttocks here on top of the back of your heels. That's called iqqa' sunnah. That is only in that position, which is when? Between the 2 sajda. But the iqqa' he's talking about, which is prohibited, is iqa'ul kalb. Iqa'ul kalb is basically how the dog sits. Okay, is that you lift up your knees up. I can't really because I've got a board behind me for the screen. If one of the brothers want to look at some of the images and send it to me, inshallah. Iqqa' is basically just like lifting up your knees and you're sitting on the floor. Inshallah, if I got time, and I will remove the backgrounds from behind me and I will show it to you on the carpet. What is the iqqa' al-bid'ah? This iqqa' is iqqa' of the dog and the iqqa' also of the monkey. Both is together. And you let your hands at the back or in front of you, and that is prohibited. We go back to Shaykh Al-Albaani's book, which is the Talkhis, abbreviated one. He says, rahmatullahi alayh, when he finishes the 2nd rak'ah, he would sit for the tashahhud, and it is compulsory. So the tashahhud is compulsory. And he would sit in iftirash, okay, between the 2 sajda. And he says that the iqqa' in this tashahhud is not allowed. It's only between the 2 sajda. And then he explains the following points, inshallah, in a minute. Fadl. And he says here, uqbatu shaitan. Uqbatu shaitan is, as he had translated, is the sitting of the shaitan, which is the iqqa', the squatting of the shaitan, and the squatting, which is similar to the squatting of the dog and the squatting. And by the way, in Arabic, we say aq'a al-kalb. We don't say jalas al-kalb in Arabic. Aq'a, iqqa' al-kalb. The dog. I don't know, you know the dog, how he sits on him, and the tail waves behind him, and his legs up. Okay, that's the way he's talking about. Now,
we continue with the next paragraph.
Well, if you would just go to the footnotes of the dog.
Number 8. About Iqqa, Abu Ubaidah and others said, it is when a man presses his buttocks against the ground, keeps his shins upright and leans his hands on the ground the way a dog does. This is different to the Iqqa between sajda, which is approved in the Sunnah as covered previously.
Well done. So the Iqqa of the Sunnah is different than the Iqqa of the dog. I don't have any images here of the Iqqa of the dog, but why not I just do it and I add it to the, inshallah, here to the images. Right. Okay, right, continue please.
When he sat in tashahhud, he would place his right palm on his right thigh in one narration knee, and his left palm on his left thigh in one narration knee, spreading it upon it. And he would put the end of his right elbow on his right thigh. Also, he forbade a man who was sitting in a prayer resting on his left hand and said, verily, this is the prayer of the Jews. In one wording, do not sit like this, for indeed, this is the way of sitting of those who are punished. In another hadith, it is the sitting posture of those who incurred Allah's anger.
Okay. Now, if I share with you the screen as well, go to the Iqqa, sorry, the how do you sit in the tashahhud? Bismillah. Right. So this is the person who sits in the tashahhud. He says here, he's sitting now in iftirash or tawarruk. It doesn't matter. Both. No, but tawarruk maybe is different in the left hand. But this is how his hands are. He says that he will put the right hand of his on his right thigh. Same thing with the left as well. Okay. And he would make basically the elbow in parallel to the thigh. So he will not put them away from his side. So let me just show you. He does not put them like, he does not put them like this. So they are in parallel to the thighs. Okay, they are parallel into the thighs. And he forbade somebody who's sitting or sitting with his hands behind him like this, leaning on it. And he said, this is Jalsat al-Maghdubi alayhim. And by the way, and he said as well, he said, this is the Jalsa of the ones who are being punished. And this is whether it is in the Salah or outside the Salah. The person is not allowed to sit leaning on his left palm. He's not. And even if he's got two hands open and he leaned behind him like this, it's not allowed. Okay, let me just take this sharing. So even if he's behind him like this, he's not allowed because he's opened the palm. But if you made a fist at the back and you leaned, no problem. If you open the hand, that especially the left one, then this is the sitting of the person who is going to be punished. And here, Jalsat al-Maghdubi alayhim, it doesn't mean the Christians or the Jews. Maghdubi alayhim is every person whom Allah has his wrath upon. So it's not the interpretation that of the Surah Al-Fatiha, which is غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. No, مغضوب عليهم and every person whom Allah Azza wa Jal has his wrath upon him. طيب. Alhamdulillah. Now we go to following topic, please.
Moving the finger in tashahhud. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam would spread his left palm on his left knee, clench all the fingers of his right hand, point with the finger adjacent to the thumb towards the Qibla, and fix his side on it, that is the finger.
Continue, please.
Also, when he pointed with his finger, he would put his thumb on his middle finger, and sometimes he would make a circle with this too. When he raised his finger, he would move it supplicating with it, and he used to say, it is surely more powerful against the devil than iron, meaning the forefinger.
Right. Also continue, please.
Also, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ used to remind each other that is about pointing with the finger when supplicating. Once he saw a man supplicating with two fingers, so he said, make it one, make it one, and indicate it with his forefinger. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam would do this in both tashahhuds.
Okay, both tashahhud. Right. Let's just now go to the footnote before I start talking about this footnote, which is to do with that he used to look at it with his sight. Fadl.
Look at it, look at it.
The first one, he looks at it with his sight. It says here, Muslim Abu Awana, with authentic chain, Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, this is Nadbatu Shaitan. The first footnote on this chapter.
Number 6. Number 6, yeah.
I don't know. I don't have 6 or 7 because I'm an Arabic book. It's different from your English.
Okay. Muslim Abu Awana and Ibn Khuzaymah, Humaydin Abu Ya'la added with Sahih Sanad on the authority of Ibn Umar, and this is the shooting of the devil. No one will forget what he does this. As Humaydi raised his finger, Humaydi also said that the Muslim Ibn Abi Maryam said, a man related to me that in a church in Syria, he saw images of the Prophet depicted like this. And Humaydi raises his finger. This is extremely strange remark, but his sanad up to the man's is sahih.
So now this is the first footnote, and up to here we go. First of all, you need to know that how the Prophet ﷺ used to make his finger. So when he sits for the tashahhud, remember his 2 palms on top of his thighs, and the end of his left. Okay, this is the fingers now. The end of them is actually in parallel with the of his knees, in parallel with the knees. So he's not really doing to the knees like that. No. So if it's the knees like this, it's up to here on the thigh, not like that. That's the tashahhud. And remember his elbow is in parallel with his thigh. Okay. His right one now is the one who's going to make the pointing with it. If it's left-handed, it's to do with the right hand. If it's got no right, he cannot do it with the left. It has to be with the right. So how he used to do it, he said he used to clench the fingers like this, like a fist. So the thumb is on the middle finger, and he's pointing towards the Qibla. And he would look at it. So they're looking at it while you are praying like this. I'm looking at it at the moment. Even you do not notice, but I'm looking at it at the moment. So the looking at it is not to look at it with the head. It's only with the eyes. So I'm looking at it with the eyes. I don't do like this. I'm straight to the Qibla. My eyes locked onto that finger of mine, which is on top of my thigh at the moment. I mean, I'm saying it's at the top of the table now, but okay. And this is the finger, and it's not like this bent. Oh, sorry, you don't see. You're not seeing it. Brilliant. Sorry. So let's just go a bit here. Right. So that's okay. I'm putting this on the thigh, and that's the finger. Okay. I could do like this, and I could do like that. Just like this, or like this. Like this, or like this. This is called a circle. Fine. Now, how could you actually do it? Now, we used to, as well, look with his eyes on it, and he used to as well, يحركها. يحركها, move it. That's the movement. Now, our Shaykh Al-Albaani, when we asked him, some people doing like this, he said, this is not movement. This is called in Arabic, khafd, rafa. Khafd, rafa, meaning up, down, up, down. It's not movement. The movement is like this. Okay. Now, we know that we understand that some people may do like this movement. Okay. I can't really say anything wrong. Okay. But not like this. This is called at-tadwir. Tadwir means circling. You'll find some other people. I'm not joking as a joke, because you must have seen some people doing it, which is like this. This is called not haraka. This is called dawr, tadwir. But this here, yeah, I'm not comfortable to do this. I'm comfortable to do this. If I do like this, it's all my hand is moving actually. Okay, haraka al-asma'. So this is haraka. And the haraka is being described as to be vigorous. I mean, like as fast. Okay, and here is something that Shaykh Al-Albaani brings, Rahimahullah. That Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, this is mudbatu shaitan or madabbatu shaitan. And also he said that Musa ibn Abi Maryam, a man, we don't know who's the man. He said that he saw the prophets which were drawn or carved in some of the churches in Bilad al-Sham, which is the Romans are, the Christians. And those prophets, their images, they were doing the finger. That means not moving it, of course, because I'm just saying you can't move an image, but I'm just saying being carved with a finger showing. This is to do with tashahhud. Okay, with tashahhud, that's the finger. Right, alhamdulillah, we understood now how the Prophet ﷺ, he used to do that finger and look at it, and then he says it's severe, more severe on the shaitan. Now there is here on number Abu Dawood al-Nasa'i, it says that here قال الإمام الطحاوي. Do you see that footnote? And it's got a proof that it was at the end of the prayer. Then after that he says, I say, and I'm adding this to your, maybe you don't have this, I say, Shaykh Al-Albaani says. Naam, tfaddal. There's a proof that the sunnah, that he should continue.
About supplicating with it, Imam Tahawi said, this is evidence that it was at the end of the prayer. Hence, there is no evidence in this that the sunnah is to continue pointing and moving the finger until the taslim. For the supplication.
Hence there is or there isn't? I'm sure.
Sorry?
I don't know. I understood from the way you read it. You said no. It does not stay until the end, but it does actually.
Yeah. Hence, there's evidence in this that the sunnah is to continue pointing and moving the finger until the taslim. For the supplication is.
It's not making sense to me the way you're reading it.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to me. Basically, what he means here, Imam al-Tahawi, he says that this moving of the finger is at the end of the prayer. Shaykh Al-Albaani says an elaboration. This is a proof that the sunnah is to continue in his moving of the finger until salutation. So he will keep from the beginning of the tashahhud until the salutation, until the end, until he gets up. Because he says the supplication is before it. The supplication is before it. And this is the madhab of Malik and others. And Imam Ahmad was asked, does the person point with his fingers in the salah? He said, yes. And he said, vigorously, shadidan. And also this has been mentioned by Ibn Hani in his Masal from the Imam Ahmad. Also Shaykh Al-Albaani elaborates, he says, I say. So it is now, can you have something there to read for me? That is clear that the moving of the finger in the tashahhud is a sunnah confirmed from the Prophet ﷺ. Can you read from there?
Okay, it is clear that moving the finger in tashahhud is a proven sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and it was practiced by Ahmad and other imams of the sunnah. Therefore, those who think that it is pointless and irrelevant and has nothing to do with prayer should fear Allah, since because of this they do not move their fingers, although they know it to be an established sunnah, and they take great pains to interpret in a way which is inconsistent with the Arabic way of expression and contrary to the understanding of the imams with regard to it.
Continue. Yeah.
The amazing thing is that some of them will defend an imam on other issues, even if his opinion conflicts with the sunnah, with the argument that to point out the imam's mistake inevitably means to taunt and disrespect him. They then forget this and reject this established sunnah, at the same time mocking at those who practice it. Whether or not they realize it, their mockery also includes those imams whom they often defend wrongly and who are correct about the sunnah this time. In fact, they are deriding the Prophet ﷺ himself, for he is the one who brought us the sunnah, and so jeering it is equivalent to jeering at him. But what is the reward for those among you who behave like this, except
فما جزاء ما يفعل ذلك منكم إلا. The ayah. Continue, please. There's no continuation.
As for putting the finger down after pointing or limiting the movement to the affirmation saying La ilaha, there is no God, and negation saying illallah, except Allah, all of that has no basis in the Sunnah. In fact, it is contrary to the Sunnah as the hadith proves. Further, the hadith that he would not move his finger does not have an authentic isnad, as I have explained in Da'if Abi Dawood. Even if it was authentic, it is negatory, while the hadith above is affirmatory. So the affirmatory take precedence over the negatory, as is well known among the scholars.
You finished now, yes? Jazakallah. Barakallah. Let me summarize all of that. Basically, that the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that when he sits for the tashahhud, whether it's the first or the last one, he would make sure that he would make this raising of the finger this way or that way, and he would point it towards the Qibla, and his eyes is locked onto it, and it will be moving it, and moving it like this quickly. It's not like this quickly. And also, Abdullah ibn Umar, he had narrated the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and Aisha, Lahiya, it is more severe on the shaitan than the iron bar. It's like you're hitting him with an iron rod. Okay? An iron rod hitting him. Allahu a'lam how. And this provokes the shaitan. So those people who take the mick out of the sunnah, Shaykh Al-Albaani is telling them, why do you do that? And why don't you just listen to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ? And then he says about those people who are abiding themselves with a certain madhab. They don't take this, even their sheikh, they said that this is correct. But because it doesn't go with what they want to think it is correct, then they will ignore their imam. So they pick whatever is suitable with their whims and desire, which is not correct. He says here also that this movement is from the beginning of the tashahhud until salutation, or until you get up for the third rak'ah. It is not like where the people, they don't do anything. They hold like this, their hand. And then when it comes to Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, they put the finger, and then Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That's not from the Sunnah. You find people doing like this, and they only raise it where they say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Okay? Or some people he would move from the first tashahhud, at the beginning, from the beginning, he would move it up, or he move it, but when he says Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, he would stop. And he would start making his dua without moving. Both is incorrect. So to attach this movement to the Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, or to make tashahhud up to Ashhadu an la ilaha and put this down and finish, no. Correct is to keep doing it until the end. Now, so I've been asked a number of times as well, if somebody want to ask me as well, but let me just answer this question now. Do I do salutation while I'm doing it? No. Because there's no proof, but because this is linked to the tashahhud. So, do I do like this when I finish? Or like this is not as well, but you don't move. You finish the tashahhud. So, salutation. So, but we don't want you to make a movement that would be a disturbance for the people. We don't want you to do like this after you go to salutation. That means you want to do like this, your hands. So, you just put it down, no problem, and you make your salutation. Alhamdulillah. So, we ended up now how to move the finger. There's a story, you could refer to it in the talk of the brothers of Brixton. And I think it's got the title is How to Move the Finger, and how the person, when he moves his aql into something that it should be ibadah, mere worship, he ends up with disaster. There's a story there which will make you, inshallah, laugh. So I'll refer to it, please, and then go to the following time. And by the way, you can't make as well with two fingers. So let me just go to the abbreviated. She says, Shaykh Al-Albaani says here, how he describes, he said you put the right hand on the right thigh, left hand on the left thigh, with your elbows in parallel to your thighs, and he would put his hands not separated like this, like that, and he's not supposed to lean on your left, like we said. And then he said, move a finger by clenching your fingers and doing that. And sometimes you do like this, and sometimes you like that, depending. You know, there is no choice here, preference choice. and he would move it, and he would make the tashahhud and the dua with it. He would not do it with the second finger or the other finger, and he would make it in all the tashahhud. Let's go now to the compulsory. Fadal. Tashahhud is compulsory. Fadal.
The obligation of the first tashahhud and the validity of supplication during it. He sallallahu alayhi wasallam will recite the tahiyyah after every 2 rak'ah. The first thing he would say in this city would be, all compliments be to Allah.
At-tahiyyatu lillah. Na'am.
When he forgot to perform the tashahhud after the first 2 rak'ahs, he would prostrate twice for forgetfulness. He used to order them to perform tashahhud, saying, when you sit after every 2 rak'ah, then say all compliments. And then each of you should select the supplication he likes best and supplicate Allah mighty and sublime. In another version, say all compliments in every sitting.
All compliments at-tahiyyat. And then you say at-tahiyyat. Nah. And
he also ordered the one who prayed badly to do so, as has been mentioned.
Right. Now we know for sure that the tashahhud, the first tashahhud, is compulsory. It's actually mentioned in the hadith of al-musi salata, the one who had done wrong in his prayer. It's been mentioned there. And Shaykh Al-Albaani here says that why is it we find that Imam al-Nawawi rahmatullahi alayhi, he did not make it compulsory, because it did not come in the hadith al-musi salata, and it's actually there. It is there. So we say that it is there. The hadith is there. But he's following the madhab. The madhab is only the tashahhud, which is compulsory, is the second tashahhud. What is their reasoning for that? They say that because the middle tashahhud is not compulsory, that the Prophet of Allah he said that if you are up and you forgot it, don't go down. So if you did tell him not to go down, that means it's not compulsory. And also they said that how can it be compulsory when we can really compensate for it by 2 sajda? It's called sujood al-sahw. And this is something which is not correct, because where does it say that if we can compensate something with 2 sajda sahw, it is not, doesn't mean it's compulsory? That's not the case. It's actually the opposite. And also we have hadith al-Mughira, okay, that is hadith al-Mughira, which is that the Prophet ﷺ, he said that if you are up, continue, but if you are not up halfway, then you sit. So sit here means compulsory. And as I said, it's been mentioned also in the hadith al-Musi salata, and also here he says قولوا في كل جلسة, say as a command, and the command is compulsory unless there is something there that will take it away from being compulsory. قولوا في كل جلسة التحيات. I don't mind here mentioning the story of those people who say that not every command is compulsory. The story of Shaykh Al-Albaani, when he came to the Shaykh rahmatullah alayhi, and he said, my manager, basically in the company, been arguing with him regarding this issue, and he says, he's not got no beard. And I told him the Prophet ﷺ commanded with the beard. So the man, he said, well, not everything that the Prophet of Allah commanded is compulsory. By the way, that manager of his is a argumentative HT, Hizb al-Tahrir. Shaykh Al-Albaani knew he was Hizb al-Tahrir from the way that he's being described to him by this layman, basically. So the Shaykh Al-Albaani cannot give him proofs and all of this to go back to his manager. This guy is just, simple man. So he said to him, okay, do the following. Let's see what's going to happen. So remember, the argument of the manager is that not every command is compulsory. That's why he had said, Prophet Allah commanded with the beard, it's not compulsory. So he was in the company one day, and the manager is calling him. His name is Muhammad. Muhammad, did not respond. Muhammad, maybe he thought maybe he didn't hear, not respond. He saw him and he's looking eye to eye. Muhammad, he's not responding. Why are you not listening to me? He said to him, well, not every command is compulsory. So it's not compulsory for me to reply to you. He wanted to pass the message. Shaykh Al-Albaani told him to do this. Not every command is compulsory. So this is, common sense. A command is compulsory. Yes, it will not be compulsory if there is something to take it away. But as a general principle, every command is compulsory. Only will not be compulsory if there is something else made us to see that it's not compulsory actually. It's actually a recommendation. But in its purity, in its first instant, we say it's compulsory. Otherwise, all the commands here say it's not compulsory. Not compulsory. All Sharia will be ruined. So it is compulsory. Now we know that this tashahhud, we need to make sure that this tashahhud is compulsory. And if you forgot the middle tashahhud, this first tashahhud, and you got up, before you get up, if you remembered, if you didn't do the tashahhud, go back. If you are completely up, don't go down. Now listen to me, there's two things as well here very important. Number one, if you are praying as in jama'ah and you are the imam and you left from the second rak'ah forgetting the middle tashahhud and you got up, even if you're completely up, the people behind you might, and they should, say to you, subhanallah. Might, they say to you, and they should. So those who thought, oh, he's up, completely up, I should not say subhanallah. No, akhi. Say to him subhanallah. As long as you're not going to make him to, sort of, I would say, confused. But you tell him, because he maybe thinks that he didn't know a mistake. So because at the end of the prayer, he will make the compensation. So to himself, subhanallah, but you stay up. But if these guys behind you insisted to stay down, you could just make a gesture like this. Get up. Don't say a word, but get up to follow me. Because I can't go down. That's the first thing. Second thing, let's say that this guy was sort of confused and he was shocked and somebody told him, and somehow he was in chaos. He couldn't really concentrate. He's up completely, but he sat down. That does not invalidate the prayer, because you might find your prayer is invalid. Why? Because you left a pillar and you went to something which is not a pillar. You can't invalidate a prayer like that. You made a mistake. So if this person, this imam, sat down after he was completely up, we say that he made a mistake, but it doesn't mean, because some people, at that moment, if something happens to them that they're not really focusing. They panic, that's the word, panicking. Right. Third point regarding the issue of sujood al-sahw. Sujood al-sahw is at the end of the prayer, whether before salutation or after salutation. Two sajda, they are after the tahiyyat and the salah al-ibrahimiyya and the dua. Before you make salutation, either you make two sajda now and then salutation, or you make salutation and then you make two sajda, but you have to make now extra two salutations. Or extra one salutation, it doesn't matter the way that you make salutation, whether it's one or two, depending. So remember that it is up to you. But if you want to follow the sunnah, where to put your two sajda, before salutation or after salutation, then the following principle can be applied. Looking at all the ahadith, we could summarize all of them into two reasons. If this two sajda of sahw, because you forgot to do the middle tashahhud, or because you're confused how many rak'ahs you've done, and you couldn't arrive to the right conclusion, so you build upon what you are sure of, which is the minimum number. In these two cases, make your sajda, two sajda of sahw, before salutation. I'll repeat again. We don't have time because we need to go past to the following, title. So if you two sajda, if you want to do them according to the sunnah, before or after, only two scenarios where your two sajda will be before salutation. Other than these two scenarios, you make these two sajda after salutation, and then you make extra salutation after the two sajda. What are the two scenarios or the cases? Case number one, that you stood up and completely did not do the middle tashahhud. If you, by the way, if you remembered halfway and you sat down and you made sujood, you made the tashahhud, there is no sajda sahw. There is no sajda sahw. So this person stood up. He can't go down now. He did not do the middle tashahhud, two sajda before salutation. Second case, this person now he is actually in his third rak'ah. He's done already two rak'ah. But he forgot now in his third rak'ah. Is he in the third or is he in the fourth? He's not sure did he do the third or not, but actually he did not do it. So he started saying, is it the third or the fourth? The third or the fourth? He couldn't arrive to a conclusion. But he knows that he had done the minimum is two, he remembers. So he built upon what he is sure of, but he still hasn't arrived to the conclusion. In this case, because he did not arrive to the conclusion, he built upon what he's sure of, then his two sajda is before salutation. Other than these two cases, you make the two sajda after salutation. And I'll tell you what, if this is too much for you to understand, if it make the two sajda whatever you want, before or after. But if you made it after salutation, remember to make extra salutation. No tashahhud like the Ahnaf they do as well. Make tashahhud, extra tashahhud, just salutation after that. In sujood al-sahw, there is no adhkar as we mentioned, but you could just say Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, same thing as adhkar. In between the two sajda, because they're not long, there's nothing's been mentioned. You just Allahu Akbar and then go back Allahu Akbar. Because there is no time to say anything. Even if you said nothing in the sujood al-sahw, but don't do a particular dua which is not being mentioned. Like Subhana man la yashu. Glorified be to Allah, the one who does not forget. You can't put that into sujood sahw because it has to have a proof. Right. I think I've covered everything to do with sujood al-sahw. If you have any other than that, you could go to the questions, Allah, and answers. طيب. Hadith Ziyad ibn Ilaqa, he said that the Mughira ibn Shu'bah, he prayed for us 2 rak'ah and then he sat, so he did not make the shahud and stood up and he did not sit, so people made tasbih for him. So he made a gesture, خلاص, get up. فأشار إليهم قوموا, come on, get up. When he finished the prayer, he had made 2 sajda. And he said, this is how the Prophet ﷺ had done. If one of you had stood from the julus and he is not completely standing up, then let him sit down and there is no sajda on him. But if he's completely standing up, then let him continue the prayer and make 2 sajda while he is sitting. This hadith is hadith sahih. طيب. Also hadith Sa'id ibn Waqqas, or Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, radiyallahu anhu, that he stood up in the 2 rak'ah, did not do tashahhud, so they made tasbih to him. So he had finished, and then he made 2 sajda sahu, and he said, do you think that I'm going to sit? For verily, I have done how I've seen the Prophet ﷺ had done. So I copied the Prophet of Allah. طيب, all of these ahadith, alhamdulillah, is to be authentic. And from the scholars, by the way, who says that tashahhud al-awsat, first tashahhud, is compulsory, that is the following scholars, Al-Layth wa Ishaq, and Ahmad in the narration which is known about him, and this is one of the sayings of Imam Shafi'i, and one of the also riwayat of Abu Hanifa. Hanafi, they as well say that it's compulsory. Let's go now to the following title, Siyagh at-Tashahhud. Tafadhal.
The manner of tashahhud. He taught several ways of tashahhud. The tashahhud of Ibn Mas'ud, who said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught me the tashahhud with my palm between his palms, the way he taught me surahs of the Quran.
Okay, right here, tashahhud, we're going to give you some number of things. I'm going to classify them quickly, inshallah, but let's just listen to this. Ibn Mas'ud, he said, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he put my palm between his 2 palms, kaffi bayna kaffay, and he started to teach me the surah, the dua, just like he teaches me the Quran. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is from the ascribe, from the ones who had memorized the Quran. He's one of the reciters. Okay. Now, when we say his palm is between the palms of the Prophet ﷺ, this is a way of making sure that you want to teach. Okay, it's nothing to do with shaking of the hands, because when you go to some brothers, when you shake their hands, they will start putting your hand between their two hands. Okay, then you've seen that, especially Jama'at al-Tabligh or Jama'at al-Ahbab. We tell them this is not from the Sunnah. When you shake with one hand. To take the hats like this, and even some of them they do like that. They put their hands on their hearts. What are you trying to say? I mean, that bringing me closer to you or something, making the Sunnah is shaking of the hands, but this one is to teach for the sake of purpose of teaching. Okay, so not for the purpose of shaking the hands when you meet somebody. And this is not from the Sunnah. Shaking the hands is like that with one. And the Yemeni people call the Shaykh, which has been confirmed by the Islam. So this is just to make sure that he's listening. And then he said, he taught me this dua just like he teaches me the Quran. That means that this dua is tawqifi. Each word counts. And that's in a hadith. How about the Quran? You cannot say the Quran by the meaning of it. This has to be by the words. كان يعلمني السورة كما يعلمني السورة. It's like he teaches me the Quran. So word for word, like he done with Al-Bara ibn Azib radiallahu anhu. He taught him the dua of going to bed. Let me that one which is the last after your ad'iyah, the last one before you sleep. And he made them word for word. And Bara ibn Azib made a mistake of one little thing, but it's not a mistake. Okay, which is the Rasul made it into he made a Nabi into a Rasul. Prophet did not accept it. He said, do that exactly as I said. And I mentioned this yesterday in my talks. I don't want to repeat what I mentioned in my lecture yesterday. طيب. Here, the dua, the tahiyyat, he says, التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Then he says, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, we said it while he was alive amongst us. But when he died, we said, Assalamu ala nabi. We said, Assalamu ala nabi. That means, not Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. طيب. So we understood now that this is the best of the tashahhud, this one. So we say the tashahhud like this, التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات السلام على النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين to the end of the dua. He says, if you say على عباد الله الصالحين, الصالحين, the righteous, are the one who is fulfilling the duties and the obligation towards the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also the obligations of the people. So he's fulfilling both obligations, the Almighty and the people's obligations. And he said, if you say this, then you have actually, with your dua, encompassed and accommodated, and you have as well accommodated for those who are righteous between heaven and earth. Every righteous servant between heaven and earth, whether he's in the earth or in heavens or in between, he's included in that dua when you say, وَعَلَى عِبَادِ اللَّهِ الصَّالِحِينَ أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. These are the two testimonies, Tawheed, and this is to testify the Shahada, and that the Prophet of Allah is a slave and he's a messenger. We don't go extreme, and we should really accept what he had told us. And if you want a further explanation, as I said, I have a special lecture on this. If you go to the topic, which is Sifat Salat al-Nabi at-Tashahhud, I think it's maybe part 3. We talked about these du'as in details. طيب. There's some footnotes here. What does As-Salam, Al-Malik, Tahiyyat, okay, all of that, please refer to it in the book. I'm sorry, Sheikh, but I want to go a bit faster. Okay, right. So all of these ahadith, you got the explanation of them as well. طيب. Now there's a footnote, very important. It says here, وَقَوْلُ ibn Mas'ud, please follow me, Shaykh, that قَوْلُ ibn Mas'ud, he said, Shaykh Al-Albaani said, as for the saying of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, we said, Assalamu ala nabi, peace be upon the Prophet, meant that the Sahaba, please be with them, they used to say, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi, in the tashahhud, while the Prophet ﷺ was alive. When he died, they went to say Assalamu ala Nabi. And it must be, that is from the Prophet ﷺ's approval. They didn't do it from their own selves. I mean, the Prophet will approve that for them. And what supports this as well, Aisha radiallahu anha, she used to say that she used to teach the tashahhud in the salah, Assalamu ala Nabi. So Aisha was used to teach the tashahhud, Assalamu ala Nabi. Al-Hafiz Ibn Hajar Rahimahullah, he says, and this is, you could be clear that they used to say Salamu alayka ayyuhan Nabi. When the Prophet ﷺ died, they left this way of saying alayka ayyuhan Nabi, is like they are talking to somebody who's present. Assalamu ala Nabi. Also in another place he said in his Kitab al-Fath al-Bari, قال السبكي. You have that one, Shaykh? في شرح المنهاج. After he mentioned this narration from Abi Uwana, yes, on his own. Do you have that, Shaykh?
Yes.
Continue, please. قال السبكي. From there.
Subki said in Sharh al-Minhaj, after mentioning this narration from Abu Awana only, if this is authentically reported from the companions, it proves that after his time, it is not compulsory to address the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam directly in the greeting of peace. Not so one says, peace be on the Prophet.
Assalamu ala Nabi. Na'am.
Ibn Hajar continues, this is authentic without doubt because it is established in Sahih Al-Bukhari, and I have also found strong support for it. Abdul Razak said,
Right, go ahead. Yes, Abdul Razak said.
Abdul Razak said, Ibn Jurayj informed me, Ata informed me that the companion used to say, peace be upon you, O Prophet, while Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was alive.
Means Assalamu alayka ayyuhan Nabi. Na'am.
But after he died, they would say, peace be on the Prophet. And this is Sahih Islam.
Assalamu ala Nabi. And this is Sahih Islam. And the rest, please, can you read it on your own to read this? Please, Jazakumullahu khairan. So we say that it must be that this, the Sahaba used to say this with an approval of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Otherwise, it will be that they are innovators. They will be mubtadi'ah to make this, to say Assalamu ala Nabi without the Prophet of Allah told them to do so. And you know that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is the one who said it, and we know Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, how severe he is against the mubtadi'ah and the innovation. If he says this, he would not innovate. No way. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is the one who said, اتبعوا ولا تبتدعوا عليكم بالأمر العتيق. اتبعوا means follow. لا تبتدعوا, don't innovate. Hold on to the Amr al-Atiq, the old, that means saying of the Prophet. Hold on to the saying of the Prophet. Alaykum bil amr, the sayings of the companions. Don't make your own, wordings of the hadith. So if Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is so stern regarding the bid'ah, how dare he make a bid'ah in something that is going to be repeated so many times, a day and a night, going to say, Salamu ala Nabi, Salamu ala Nabi, Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. طيب. At-Tirmidhi Hakim, he says, he who wants to gain the benefit of the salam, that the people who are doing it in the salah, then let him be a righteous slave. Otherwise, he will be deprived from this great honor. So if you want to be included of this supplication of the 1 point how many billions of people who pray, okay, if you want to be included in that dua, when they say Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin, peace be upon also the ones who are the righteous slaves of Allah. So if you want to get this dua and be included in this millions of dua, which is every second there's a praying upon that, then if you want to be included, make sure that you are a righteous person. And that is why Al-Qaffal, he said in his fatwa, abandoning the prayer, forsaking the prayer, not to pray, it will harm the person and also harm all the Muslims. Because the person who prays, he says, Allahumma ghfirli walil mu'minina wal mu'minat. And also, he says in his tashahhud, Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. So if he does not pray, this person, he will be falling short in giving the rights of Allah, the rights of His Messenger, the rights of himself, and the right of all Muslims. And that is why the sin of abandoning the prayer is great. Because you're leaving all of these rights, rights of Allah, rights of His Messenger, Salamu ala Nabi, the rights of the people, the Muslim people, the righteous people, all of these Muslims, you're going to leave them. Because of this, the sin of abandoning the prayer, out of ladies, of course, is great. طيب, Tashahhud Ibn Abbas.
The Tashahhud of Ibn Abbas.
I'm going to read all of them, Shaykh, and you just be listening. Jazakallah khair. So you could just relax now. كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعلمنا التشهد كما يعلمنا السورة من القرآن. Same thing like Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said that the Prophet of Allah used to teach us the tashahhud just like he teaches us from the Quran. That means the teaching of the Quran is extra. Teaching of the Quran, it means letter for letter, word for word. Otherwise, if there is no difference between the teaching of the Quran and the teaching of the Hadith, there will be no usage for this Hadith. He used to teach us the tahiyyat like he used to teach us the surah from the Quran. That means he would sit and make sure that when you, so when they write because the Prophet is not literate, he's illiterate. So he tells them when an ayah comes to him, so he calls the ascribe. Not all of them they come. 5, 4, 6, 8. And then he would recite what he had just got from Jibreel as-salam. And Jibreel does not leave until everything is documented. So they will take. Then he would say, read back. He has to listen to it. If it's what like he had heard, khalas. If it's not, he will correct. And Jibreel, as I said, will not leave until it's been documented. That's why the Quran is 100%. So it is not just what is written, it's in the heart. Companions took it in the heart. And that is why Umar al-Khattab, radiallahu anhu, in the Battle of Al-Ridda, Harb al-Ridda, because of that, most of the companions were hafiz, they were in the front line fighting. They want the jihad, they want because they know how much reward lies for the jihad. So they want to be there. Because that so many were killed in the Harb al-Yamama, Umar al-Khattab was afraid. Afraid for what? The manuscript still there. He was afraid for those who are memorized the Quran. The manuscript still there. To show you that the most important thing is the hifz, al-talaqqi. So the Quran is not just documents or scrolls or scriptures. Quran is talaqqi from the beginning. And that is Jibreel talaqahu min Allah, from the reserved tablet. Jibreel came to the Prophet. He did not send him literature and Allah made him to read and write and that's it. No. فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَاهُ فَاتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَ. Allah says in Surah Al-Qiyam, فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَاهُ فَاتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَ. If we recite it to you, then follow his recitation. You don't have to memorize. Because he was memorizing, don't worry. إِنَّا عَلَيْنَا جَمْعَهُ وَقُرْآنَ فَإِذَا قَرَأْنَاهُ فَاتَّبِعْ قُرْآنَ. Upon us, we're going to put it for you. Input out, don't worry about it. So at the beginning, when he has a revelation, he will bring the scribes and he will tell them straight away. And his memory will be 100%. Yes, later on, after the Quran is being settled in the hearts of these companions and also documented, the Prophet, he made wrong in his recitation in the prayer. So it became like the human element came in now here. When he made the mistake, he himself realized the mistake. So he said to Ubay ibn Ka'b, weren't you with us? He said, yes, Messenger of Allah. Why did you not correct me? Ma mana'ak. What prevented you from correcting me? Should have corrected me. Even he's the Prophet of Allah. Ma mana'ak. Well, lots of reasons maybe he did not correct him. Because maybe he thought that there is naskh. A new revelation came and to take out the verses before. And this is a new verse now. That's Ubay ibn Ka'b. Maybe he did not. Maybe it's because the Prophet of Allah, he is not really daring to do that. Lots of things, lots of reasons. But the Prophet has to say this in order to understand that he's an element human being here. He forgot. But he did not forget, because Jibreel as-salam, as soon as he gives it to him, he gives it to the people. And they would recite it back to him and he would approve. Right. This is the second tashahhud. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he says, again, he used to teach us the tashahhud like he teaches the Quran. التحيات المباركات الصلوات الطيبات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. And another narration وعبده ورسوله. Now you could say السلام علينا or سلام علينا, and the better is salam السلام السلام, not سلام علينا. You could say السلام علينا وعلى عباد. But remember, every time that Assalamu alayka ayyuha nabi is to be changed to Assalamu ala nabi, because Assalamu alayka ayyuha nabi was taught to be said at the time when the Prophet was alive. If the person is convinced to say it, okay, because his scholars that he's adopting, he thinks that Assalamu alayka ayyuha nabi, you have no problem. But we believe the correct is Assalamu ala nabi. Number 3, Shaykh Abdullah ibn Umar. The Prophet ﷺ used to say in his tashahhud, التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله ورحمة الله. Ibn Umar, he said, I have increased وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. And he said, I increased وحده لا شريك وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. When he said I increased, I added, it doesn't mean he added from his pocket. Abdullah ibn Umar, he had added from another hadith that he heard from the Prophet ﷺ. Okay. So he did not add to this. So he heard the Prophet ﷺ saying this, and he heard the Prophet ﷺ saying to other companions, or he himself. So he made this tashahhud and he added this to it. So alhamdulillah, it's been approved. So it's not from his pocket. Don't think that Abdullah ibn Umar, he would make bid'ah in the deen. He's very strict regarding it. Even as strict, maybe more than Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. One person sneezed, they said alhamdulillah. He said yarhamukallah. Another person sneezed, said alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Did not say to him, Yarhamukallah. He asked him, why did you not say to me, Yarhamukallah? He said, well, I say Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. But this is not the way that the Prophet of Allah taught us to say when we sneeze. We can't say Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. It sounds nice and even rhymey, but it's not correct. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, he said, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, and then he said, التحيات الطيبات الصلوات لله السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Then تشهد عمر الخطاب رضي الله عنه. Please do that at home because it's the same thing. Okay, it's the same as تشهد ibn Mas'ud. طيب. And number 6 تشهد عائشة رضي الله عنها. تحيات الطيبات الصلوات الزاكيات here the word الزاكيات لله السلام على النبي. And you could notice here Aisha said السلام على النبي and Abdullah said السلام على النبي. And Aisha, by the way, she had witnessed the last life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she as well the closest, she had heard the Prophet of Allah number of times in his nafila in her house. So the person who prays, he has got the option to choose any tashahudat, all of them sahih, even though the scholars had differed which one is the best. Which one is the best? You could choose any, but you cannot mix. Choose one of them, but do not mix. Mix, that means you take part of this hadith, you put it on this hadith, and you can't. Right. They are all of them are almost the same. Addition of wow and here and zakiyat. Right. Now we come to Salatu ala Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and its place. Fadal Shaykh. Salatu ala Nabi.
Nabi, sending prayers on the Prophet, its place and manner. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to send prayers on himself in the first tashahhud as well as on the other. He also established it for his ummah, ordering them to send prayers on him after sending peace on him. And he taught them several ways of doing it. So
okay, now you do have footnotes there, okay, which is I have skipped, which is before this. Here it says that before this title that Assalamu alaikum alayka ayyuha nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There's a footnote there, it says here wa barakatuh wa maghfiratuh. Don't say wa maghfiratuh. But I have elaborated on this in my previous class, and I would like to as well to hear it. When you pass salutation upon a person, you could say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's it. But when you reply it, you could say wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh wa maghfiratuh, to return the salutation, but not in the tahiyyat of the tashahhud. So if a person said to you, Assalamu alaikum, you could say Assalamu alaikum or Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. فحيوا بأحسن منها أو ردوها. If you said Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, you could say wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. But how can I be better? By saying wa maghfiratuh, which is being established in the authentic hadith. طيب. Salah here, salatu ala nabi, which is after التحيات, and this is in the middle tashahhud. Some of the people, they just satisfy with themselves with the tashahhud. They don't do salah al-Ibrahimiyya. They don't do even, not to say that they don't even add a dua. No, everything that is being said in the tashahhud al-awsat is to be said in the tashahhud al-akhir. So whatever you say in the last tashahhud, you say it also in the first tashahhud. Okay. Here he says number of, okay. First one, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ahli baytihi wa ala azwajihi. Okay. وذريته كما صليت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى بيته وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Second one, اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. And I do always say this one, most complete one. طيب. And if you want to refer what is the meaning of a salah of Allah upon the Prophet, which is salat Allah on his Prophet, that is Allahumma salli, that is he's praising to him and mentioning him in the heights of companions there in their heavens. The malaika salah is that to ask Allah to do so. Okay? Asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do so. And that means to do so, that means to increase, not to do so as in to make to pass. Allah will pass the salutation upon the Prophet, but to increase doing that. طيب. Third one, اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على آل إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد. You could notice here, up to here, all of them, they mention Al-Ibrahim, Al-Ibrahim, Al-Ibrahim. And most of the time, Ibrahim and Al-Ibrahim. Yes, sometimes Al-Ibrahim without Ibrahim. But there is no such thing, Ibrahim on his own without the Al. If there is Ibrahim, there is the Al. Al is always there. Al is always there. Number 5, the same thing. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin abdika wa rasulika kama sallaita ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammadin abdika wa rasulik wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim. Number 6, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala azwajihi wa dhurriyyatihi kama sallaita ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammadin وأزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Number 7, اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وباركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Okay, all of those you could say one of them. You can't say two. You cannot mix part of this and put it on the second part. Don't do that. Right, we come now to the point which is فوائد مهمة في الصلاة على النبي الأمة. That is good points or noted points or important points regarding passing salutation upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we are with the brothers of Brixton on to point number 4. So we mentioned point number 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I cannot do that within the next 4 minutes because they're very important, these points. So please prepare them for next time. And your next class, inshallah, will be joining, but we haven't got that much to do. But your next class in next month, I will be able, actually maybe not, because you haven't only got 2 classes. Maybe
Just
not.
an idea. Is it possible we can continue after Maghrib?
Maybe it's too much for the people. I want to, it's up to the brothers. They will tell me, inshallah, the questions and answers. Let's just go to the questions now for 5 minutes. And I would like, first of all, the imams of the masjid to put your hands up as an imam to tell me what do you think. Shall we? Because once you become with us, you have to come along with us on Tuesday. I know that you've done. So once when you join in with us, so you have to be with us on Tuesday just to join the classes, inshallah, to finish this book. So I don't want to go faster than this because these points are very important and I can't just go like this and explain them. Point 1, point 2, point 3. Right. Have any questions, please, from the brothers of Northampton? Sorry,
Northampton.
Yeah, Northampton. Okay.
I have a question, Shaykh.
Fadal. By the way, you can't put your hands up because you're co-host. Fadal.
Jazakallah khair. Regarding the hadith of Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli, and then you mentioned about Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu, Assalamu ala nabi. So where do we stand here if we stick on the Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli, and then where do we stand from here in this position?
This hadith is actually supports the other side. How? Because he said, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. The companions are the one who saw the Prophet. We did not see the Prophet. So it supports the argument because the one who had told you how to raise up your hands, he's the one who told you that when the Prophet ﷺ used to say, when he was alive between us, he said, Salamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. When he died, he said, Salamu ala nabi. And Aisha radiallahu anha, she is with the Prophet of Allah in his night prayer all the time. And we know that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and Aisha, and others of course, but I'm just saying these two, they will not make their own opinion. They will not make their own opinion. So they must have taken, so we are saying that Sallu kama ra'aytumuni salli, we've taken this salah from number of companions. From those ones, Wa'il ibn Hujr. From those one, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. From those ones, Humayd al-Sa'id. From those one, Aisha radiallahu anha. From those ones, Abu Huraira. From those ones, Abu Huraira not much, but Abu Huraira. The wudu is more to Abu Huraira. But Wa'il ibn Hujr is the one, you could say the most. Abdullah ibn Abbas also, radiallahu anhu. Abdullah ibn Umar, radiallahu anhuma. طيب, let's go to, so this is the question, basically, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli is supposed to argument we say that we have seen these companions, we have got the narration of these companions who saw the Prophet of Allah. So this is how the Prophet of Allah had taught them to say if he's to die. Salamu alaykum. But as I said, if a person is convinced that this is the right, correct opinion because of the scholar, because it's two opinions, I have no problem to say this. But I know Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he cannot tell us something which is that he's been, because Rawi al-Hadith a'lamu bimarwihi min ghayri. He is the one who rated the hadith and he knows about it more than us. And we know that the Prophet of Allah, he said, alaykum idha haddathakum ibn ummi abdin fasaddiquh. If Abdullah ibn Mas'ud told you something, then believe him. We believe him because he had seen this. And also Aisha, she's all the time with the Prophet. Not only that, she used to teach the companions afterwards to say Assalamu ala nabi. Now, Jazakallah khair. Okay, panel question, please.
Barakallahu fiqh, Shaykh. A sister from Northampton wants to know, when straightening the rows, what statements did the Prophet ﷺ used to say? For example, she said he used to say istawu. What else did he used to say? She's asking.
He said lots, not just stawu. The ones who say just only stawu, they are falling short. And these are the aim of famous masajid. I shouldn't say the name of the masjid. Famous masajid. Stawu, and he didn't even look behind. Stawu, doesn't look. Prophet Allah said, stawu, while he's looking at them. Because he would see somebody there, and he was not stawu, Allahu Akbar. He doesn't know what's going on behind him. That's an imam who does not take responsibility. Prophet of Allah, he would see. And even when the jama'ah is lots, he will have lots of people as well to make sure. The time of Uthman, when the iqamah takes place, a person comes to Uthman and he would ask him a fatwa. My question is this, and the Uthman will reply unto him, and still the people behind trying to make what? Make sure the rows are straight. Once they are, yes, Amir al-Mu'mineen, ready. So he will say Allahu Akbar. He will not say Allahu Akbar until those people are straight. Where is our imams from this? Northampton, mashallah, tabarakallah, they apply the sunnah. But others, he's not even bothered. He's just looking at them, fixing the microphone. That's it. Allahu Akbar. Never even looked behind him. You made a mistake in the Quran. Who's going to be correcting you? It's your responsibility to pick up the person whom you know that is the Quran, to put him behind you. It's your responsibility as an imam. Prophet of Allah used to say, Sawu sufuakum. Stawu فإن تسوية الصف من تمام الصلاة. Also used to say لا تسوون صفوفكم أو لا يخالفن الله بين وجوهكم. Also used to say لا تسوون صفوفكم أو لا يخالفن الله بين قلوبكم. He said, I could see you from behind. So the Prophet even could see from behind, but yet he used to look. You see, he could see from behind what is happening. We can't see from behind. So we have to look. We have to look at the people. Not just, that's it, microphone, Allahu Akbar. You are an imam, and every imam is responsible for his flock of sheep. It's like you are a shepherd, and you've got a flock of sheep behind you. You have to make sure that they're lined up. And the people, subhanAllah, they don't line up. They line up now, mashallah, with 1 meter distance, social distancing. Ooh. You bring his measuring tape now. 1 meter, brother, akhi. When it's to do with the sunnah, akhi, fiha ikhtilaf. There's ikhtilaf in it. There is no opinion. No ikhtilaf in government distancing. But there's ikhtilaf in what? SubhanAllah. Very strict, these people who do not implement the sunnah, very strict in implementing this distancing, social distancing. We don't see them, for example, eager to implement the sunnah when it came to the sunnah. Eager to implement this 1 meter or 2 meters. Eager to do that. Allah, they make a fight. Allah al-Musta'an. And the problem is that before the prayer and after the prayer, they're together. How are you, brother? Hugging each other. When it comes to the prayer, social distancing, brother. What's this? You go to the door, hugging, all. When it comes to the prayer, social distancing. Come on. You are implementing the rule of something that is not suitable to Islamic concepts. If you're going to do like this, stay at home. Don't pray Jama'ah. Just pray at home. Better. Because you're going to, because somebody might come next to you. What are you going to do? Kick him like this? We said to the imams, do as much as you can so that the masjid will not be closed. But to implement somebody there needs to each role to make sure that there's a meter distance. What is this? Even the English people are not really convinced with it. So anyway, by the way, and let me tell you something from the doctors as well. When you face somebody face to face, 1 meter is not enough. But if your face is this way and his face is that way, even if your back stuck to his back, very unlikely to catch the droplets. Even if you're stuck, no problem. If he's next to you, is not as dangerous as what? Front of you, where saliva comes in and saliva comes in. If he's next to you, so be careful when he makes salutation. He makes salutation at the same time. Salam. You don't want to say Salamu alaikum to the left while he's saying Salamu alaikum to the right and then mouth to mouth. No. So he used to say, سووا صفوفكم لا تسوون صفوفكم أو لا يخالفن الله بين قلوبكم أو لا يخالفن الله بين وجوهكم حاذوا بين المناكب والأقدام سووا فإن يراكم من خلفي. Not just استووا that's it. No. Shaykh Al-Albaani really, it's really he hits this very hard when he hears the Imam just say استووا, they don't do anything. No.
Sister is asking that if she hears the Prophet ﷺ's name in the recitation of the voluntary prayer at night, does she send salah on the Prophet ﷺ?
If she hears or she reads?
She heard the Prophet ﷺ's name being recited in the Quran at night in voluntary. She's saying, do I have to send salah?
No, you shouldn't. Shouldn't. She's being led, you mean, or she's on her own?
No, she just heard somebody reciting at night, Shaykh, according to her question. Somebody recited.
I don't understand. Allahu Musta'an. This is Jabra now, gone crazy. I said, she's praying or she's not praying?
No, she's not praying. Somebody's reciting the word Muhammad in the Quran, and she's asking, do I have to send salah?
Any person, because they said the recitation during the night. I mean, why is that thing? Because it's confusing me. I mean, somebody is saying Muhammad, whether he's praying or not praying. That's the question, simple. Because when he's praying the night prayer, and I started answering a question which is not for the question. If a person heard the word Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's not compulsory upon him to say sallallahu alaihi wasallam except for the first time, regardless how he heard it. Whether he heard it from somebody talking to him, or somebody talking to somebody else, or somebody talking to something or anything, he heard Muhammad, he says sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So even if you heard it from a person who is now the moment I say Muhammad, you listen to me, you say sallallahu alaihi wasallam. First time is compulsory, after that is recommended. Please make the question as simple as possible, ya Ahmad. Yalla. Hi Ahmed.
Afwan, Shaykh, I think I've got internet issue. Sister is asking, how does she pray Maghrib if the Imam is praying Isha and she joins him?
So any sister, she's praying for Gaza, she's talking about the masjid, not on Zoom. There's no following on Zoom. So if you pray, she's praying,
Inshallah.
actual prayer. What she does, the correct opinion is to pray Maghrib, not to pray the Isha. Because there's opinion to pray the Isha with the Imam, then to pray Maghrib. No. So it is the time of Isha, and she forgot her prayer Maghrib, or she slept through the time, or she came through the combination of two prayers, and she had joined the Isha, and she's doing the Maghrib. In the third rak'ah, tanwil mufaraqa, meaning she intends to detach herself. Tanwil mufaraqa. So the Imam is going to stand up for the fourth rak'ah of his, and she's going to be making her tashahhud for her last rak'ah, which is the Maghrib, and making salutation. And after that, she catches with whatever remained from the Isha of the Imam. Now,
Sister wants to know that if she couldn't remember how many rak'ahs she has prayed, you taught her that she builds on the one she's sure of. But she says so she's going to prostrate sujood al-sahu, 2 prostrations. But she's saying if she forgets the middle tashahhud as well, is that enough, or she has to prostrate extra? That is her question.
the person, if he had made more, this is the question like this, if the person made more than one mistake in his prayer, is 2 sajda has to be for every mistake, or 2 sajda for all the mistakes? 2 sajda for all these mistakes. So this person forgot the middle tashahhud, and he forgot how many rak'ah he said, and he forgot even to say Allahu Akbar, and he forgot, because Allahu Akbar is not a pillar, and he forgot. 2 sajda inshallah will be sufficing for all of these mistakes. Now,
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh. If a woman thinks she's started her period,
is it a backlog question, these?
no, Shaykh, these are all this is the last one from today. There's just 5.
Go on.
She thinks she's started her period and she stops praying, but the next day she realizes it wasn't her period. Does she make up the salah?
Of course, if she had realized it's not a period, every salah that she missed, she has to make up for that. She will do it just like normal. It's not really making up. It's like on time. It is like on time because she thought it was a period. طيب يلا Faisal. I need to give you permission. Sorry. تفضل.
Sheikh, the question is regarding if some impurity such as madhi or wadi or urine gets onto our clothes.
Madhi or wadi.
Or urine, if it gets onto our clothes, is it enough we sprinkle water, or do we need to wash that area thoroughly so that all traces of that impurity is removed? So is washing or sprinkling, which one?
Shaykh, you're on mute.
This Jabra is going to make me crazy. The Madi and the Wadi, you sprinkle water onto your private parts and onto your pants. So the impurity of theirs has been, in Arabic, means it's not being giving the full purification. I can't say the word decreased or made not as strong as the. So the basically those impurities, Islam gave us concession regarding them. So sprinkle. But if it is urine, then I need to wash where the urine is. So the urine is washing, whereas the wadi and the madi. The reason behind this, we're not really, we cannot do, you see, the madi and wadi, they don't have a smell. And plus, we don't really, especially the wadi, we don't feel it at all. So it will be so much for us hard, and will help the waswasa if we're going to be to wash everything. So sprinkling will be enough. But the urine, if you urinated, you have to wash.
So Shaykh, the only exception is from madhi and wadi, but everything else, urine, feces, we must wash. Just want to clarify.
You have to wash.
Barakallahu feek, Shaykh.
Yahayakumullah. And the wadi and the madhi, it's not just only them. Also the urine of the unweaned baby, male baby. So the male child, not the female, the male child, if he's to urinate onto your lap, you don't have to wash. You sprinkle water. But if it's a female, you have to wash it. What does that mean? Male better, super? Is urination more pure or something? Well, first of all, this is Islam. And Islam came to give concession to lots of things. At the time of the Arabs, the one who's to be carried all the time is the male, not the female. So they carry the male wherever they go, babies. So they might really take this sort of impurity, going to be too much for them. That's number one. Number two, the mechanism by which the male urinates is different from the mechanism how the female urinates. When the female urinates, it's one spot. So it's very easy to wash. Whereas the male organ is it's like a hose pipe. It goes all over. Because of that, it's going to cause damage. So I'm going to wash and trace where is the wash. It's too much. So Islam just sprinkle the water. Because of that. Thirdly, it's been found that, subhanAllah, the urine of the female is stinkier than the male urine. But all of that is to do with the unweaned male baby. So if he starts taking food, and food is the most of his food, most of the food of his is not milk, then we have to wash. Cannot just sprinkle the water. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. And I need to, jazakumullah khair, relax and barakallahu feekum. And then we continue with the brothers bi'idhnillah. I would like the brothers as well in Northampton to join us inshallah on Tuesday for the points number 4. So if they join us in point number 4, I will just do with them from 1 to 4. 1, 2, 3. So those 3 points. So on Tuesday, this following Tuesday, Akhwana, the one in Northampton, please join us in our class for Brixton, because we're going to explain from point number 4, from the important points. 1 and 2 and 3, we'll leave one class for them. That's it. So we could just start a new book or start something, inshallah, a new project, if you wish. Jazakumullahu khairan. وأحسن الله إليكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. بارك الله.